Greetings, it's the Devious Monkey here, and I am in a hotel in Dulles, Virginia, just outside of DC, and this is my reintroduction / inaugural video for my YouTube station. I have been shooting tons of footage over the past several months, pretty much since August, and I have decided that this right now, with this setup and how I'm doing this, is pretty much me, simply because of the fact that I'm just always on the go. I'm always on the road for my job, and I've been thinking about all the gear that I carry with me and all the way I shoot 1080p, like all this crazy stuff, and decided that this is pretty much going to be the bulk of how this is done, with me in some hotel or roadside restaurant or some weird attraction, or even just in the middle of nowhere, shooting videos like this. So I thought this was appropriate that I did it this way, with crappy lighting. I don't know if this is capturing audio. It's already restarted once in the middle of the first time I tried to do this. So here you go. I realize I'm not looking into the camera, and I haven't done this in so long that I'm really out of practice, but my iPhone is just a little bit below. I have this entire setup propped up on 2 pillows, an iPad next to a lamp that's right next to the bed. So again, I think this is going to be the way that things are. So real quick, since the last time I posted a video, I mean, I have posted a couple since I've moved to Virginia, but I took them down. I took all that stuff down, and they were pretty much, there was no consistency in anything that I did, so I got rid of them. So now here we are. This past July, I got my passion back for photography, and decided that it was now the time to get back into things and to start pursuing that, because I was really, really craving and missing my creative passion, which was photography. And I was trying to turn that into videography, which was happening before I got this job and I moved from Chicago to Virginia Beach. But with that move, although that gave me a ton more money, it also took up all of my time, all of my passion. I worked for the most gigantic narcissistic asshole in the world, and it just sucked everything out of me. I was always stressed and angry, and I got fat and I was out of condition, and just a whole multitude of issues from that. So that's all been remedied. I've now been pretty freaking happy. I mean, I still have physical issues, but they'll always be around, and I'm dealing with them, and I'm using photography and videography to do that, because doing the photo video stuff gets me off my ass, and I get out and I take my cameras everywhere and I just shoot, for the joy of shooting. I haven't posted anything, I haven't done anything, and that's the way. You know what, I'm thinking that every time I say shoot, that this app is taking a picture. So I'm gonna have to figure out these voice commands on this GoPro, because that flashing just keeps throwing me off. Anywho, so it all started back in July, where I decided I was going to start shooting again, and I dug out my old Canon. I had a 6D that I bought when I first moved here 4 years ago, and I had my old lenses, and it was time to upgrade. So the first camera I bought was a Sony a7R II, and I started buying all the different lenses for it and everything, and I very quickly realized that that was going to be my still camera, and I still wanted to get a camera solely for video, because I didn't like mixing and matching and having to redo all the settings and everything. Long story short, I decided on a Panasonic G85 for my video, and while it has its limitations, no camera is perfect, no camera system is perfect, it's what I decided to go with. So I started playing with it, shooting video all the time. Everywhere I went, I carried it with me. I set up, my little typical vlogger setup with a Gorilla Pod and all that stuff. I started buying lenses for the Panasonic system. Then I found out that the G7, the older camera, while it didn't have stabilization, blah, blah, and all that stuff, but it was the exact same camera physically, where the buttons were laid out and everything, and also it shared batteries. So I bought a bunch of batteries for it, and the G7 became my in studio, and that's the last time I'm gonna do the air quotes. My in studio camera. It's on a tripod. It never leaves my office. And then the G85 was going to be my run and gun camera, and then the Sony was going to be my still camera. I then started to realize that Sony camera, I'm just going to say it wasn't right for me, for a multitude of reasons that I found out, and there were things about it that just annoyed me enough that I decided I didn't want it anymore. So I sold all that Sony gear to a friend of mine, and I bought the Panasonic G9. So the G9, the flagship still camera for Panasonic, is fantastic. It is quite nearly a perfect camera for me, ergonomically, settings wise, and everything. And I'm a Panasonic fanboy. I mean, that's what I shot on before this 4-year lapse of job nightmare hell. And I ended up getting, the fact that I could share the lenses with all 3 cameras, not the same batteries, but whatever. The fact that I could change the lenses on all 3 bodies was a big selling point for me. And I like the Panasonic ecosystem and everything about it. So that's sort of the way I went. Then I also had decided that it was time to upgrade my GoPro. I had a Hero 3, and then I decided to buy the Hero 6. And once I did that, I see what's happening. It's tagging everything that I'm saying when I say specific words. So I got a Hero 6 Black and started playing with that. Now, being on the beach, or in Virginia Beach, going to the beach all the time, and all of the forest, they don't call them forest preserves here, that's what they were called back in Chicago, state parks, things like that, very muddy, very swampy. You can't live in Virginia Beach and not have sand in your shoes, in your house, in your car, so a lot of sand. So I decided that the Hero would be pretty good for that, and I wasn't disappointed. I think there isn't really that much difference between the 6 and the 7, so much so that I don't think that I'm going to buy a 7 just because it's more stable. This one's going to do the job. So anyways, so I have all my gear now. I've gotten several different stabilizers. I got a lot of Gorilla Pods. I've got a lot of Manfrotto, small little tripods. I got a Manfrotto tripod for the camera in the studio. I bought another photo only tripod that I keep in my car because I'm only going to shoot on a tripod when I'm out on the road. So I got that. I got all this stuff together, and I also over time I built an iMac. I bought an iMac to the specs that I wanted, and started adding RAM and things like that, and external hard drives. So the iMac, I got Final Cut Pro. I've always had a subscription to Adobe products, as far as the Photoshop and Lightroom. So I have everything that I could possibly need. I have microphones for all the cameras, stabilizers for all the cameras, shit ton of batteries, software. I have no excuses anymore. And my friend Red Romina, she's all over me about just create something and post it. You just have to post it. Don't be afraid, and don't get into the settings, and don't get into perfection and all that kind of stuff. Get out there, shoot something. She said, this was even months ago, before I even had as much gear as I have now. She's like, you have so much amazing gear that you bought. Do a damn review on it. Pick something and do a review and post it, just so that you start posting. And I kept saying, oh yeah, I'm going to do one this weekend. My goal is to do it this weekend. And then I just wouldn't do it. My goal all through December was to do stuff and have something up by the end of the year. It didn't work. Here I am. I'm also doing this, other than the beginning where it kept messing up. I'm not doing any splicing. It's all going to be just me blabbing here for, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just because that's how I am, and that's how people know me. So, I just sort of wanted to do a quick jumble of a hello, talk about the gear that I have, and talk about what I intend to do. So with this channel, whereas before it was about me learning how to do video and trying things and jury rigging stuff, because when I was in Chicago, I didn't have a job that paid me a lot of money. I couldn't afford a lot of gear and a lot of software. I had a little flip out screen camcorder. I had a gaming laptop that was broken, that I had to take screws out of a drawer that I found to screw into the screen to hold it up with like an angle bracket. I had it sitting on a couple of pieces of wood with a small fan from Target behind it, blowing it to keep it cool, because it would take me 3 hours to render like a 5-minute video in HD, like 1080i, not even 1080p. And it was just annoying. In 4 years, the technology has it blows my mind how easy it is to do this now. Like, you have no excuse. Also, the job that I got pays me 4-5 times what I was making back in Chicago. So I have the money to buy gear. And I don't do anything else. I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't go on vacations, I don't buy clothes if I can help it. I buy what I get for the job, and then my wife was like, dude, you need to start getting some clothes. You wear like the same 3 shirts, all the time. So, in other words, I spent all my money on gear. In the past, we'll just say since August, I've bought a shit ton of gear. So I have no excuse, and I don't need any more gear. I have everything. I say I don't need any more gear, but I'm not stupid. I know I'm going to buy more gear because that's just what I do. They didn't call me the gadget freak for nothing. So I have all this gear, and I'm going to start using it, and I'm going to start doing this stuff at least once a week, posting a video. I'm on the road every week. Every week of the month, I'm on a constant rotating cycle of going to visit all my dealers. I'm a dealer marketing consultant. I do the marketing for Jaguar, Land Rover, Volvo, and my company runs their marketing programs. So if you get all those annoying little things in the mail, like the maintenance reminders and all that kind of stuff, and you need an oil change and blah 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 blah, my company does that. So I go all over Virginia and North Carolina, taking care of the Volvo, Jaguar, and Land Rover dealers. So I'm always on the road. Every month I go see everybody on a constant rotation. So I've started to decide that instead of racing from meeting to meeting and then sitting in a hotel after I've overeaten and I keep getting fatter, that I was going to take advantage of the fact that I'm all over Virginia and North Carolina, and there's so many fantastic things to see and so many fantastic places to go and pictures that need to be taken and videos and so on and so forth, that I take my gear with me. I've been taking my gear with me. I wanted to get back into the habit of being, always have a camera. My G9's always slung over my right shoulder. I've got the G85 in my other hand, or at this point now maybe the GoPro, just because it's easier for me to carry around because I have so much crap I have to bring with me. I'm just going to start doing this on a regular basis. They may be shitty little videos like this where I'm sitting in a hotel room with poor lighting and probably bad acoustics speaking into this camera. Or I may try to incorporate some B-roll because, I go through DC, I'm down all over Raleigh, Winston-Salem, all that kind of stuff. I drive to Tennessee, I go through the mountains in Virginia. There's amazing scenery, there's amazing things to do, and I'm going to start showing you all that. Now, the whole thing about this is that instead of me being a gear-centric station, it's more of a personal vlog kind of a station where I'm not always going to be talking about my gear, but what I'm going to do is be talking about, my journey through life, so to speak, while incorporating my passion for photography and videography and my love of buying gear and sometimes jury rig and stuff, because this is jury rig pretty good, and eventually you'll see a picture of it. The next video after this inaugural video, once I get everything set up back home, is going to be sort of like a gear parade where I'm going to show you all the cameras that I have, all the different ways I set them up, all the different lenses that I have, because I got a lot of lenses for those Panasonic cameras, but I also have lenses that have stuck out to become very favorite, and they stay on the camera pretty much the entire time, unless there's a specialty thing that I want to do. But I have a membership to the Botanic Gardens. I'm a couple miles from the boardwalk section of the beach. I also go back to where I used to live when I first moved here. There's a nice little nature trail place back behind everything, and it's also across the street from the Chesapeake Bay. There's no shortage of restaurants and places that I go all the time that I love, that I'm going to talk about because I'm going to plug them because they're awesome. And I spend an inordinate amount of time at Three Ships Coffee, where they pretty much know me. I walk in, I got all my gear, and I throw it down on the table, and I sit there for hours like farting around on the internet. So that's the way it's going to be. So, all right, I've hit the 15-minute mark. I think I'm going to be done now. But I'm the Devious Monkey everywhere. So Devious Monkey, although I don't really do anything on my Facebook. Devious Monkey on Instagram, the Devious Monkey on YouTube, the Devious Monkey on Vimeo, although I haven't posted anything to Vimeo, and I'm not going to be posting there all that often. I'm the Devious Monkey on Flickr as well. So I'm going to put all that stuff in the information and the videos. And again, I travel everywhere from like the DC area down into North Carolina, but more towards the other side of North Carolina. So I go down and through mostly Raleigh, Cary, and Winston-Salem. That may change. They have rearranged our territory several times. So I've gone as high as Frederick, Maryland, down to Myrtle Beach, all the way over to Kentucky. So the point being is that I'm all over North Carolina and Virginia at the very least. You know, if you're anywhere in those areas and you want to meet up and just go have coffee or go have dinner or go on a photo shoot or shoot some video together, let me know, because I would love to meet new people and collaborate and all that kind of stuff and talk about gear. So I can obviously talk and talk and talk. So it's great to be back. I would really like to just do a quick shout out to my friend Red Romina. She has an amazing channel on YouTube. She's all over the place. I don't know how she does it. She has been probably the biggest source of inspiration to me, and also the biggest help and a fantastic friend, in that, you know, she's always there for me. She's always willing to give me a helping hand and an encouraging word, and to answer any questions that I have, regardless of how stupid they may be. So thanks, Romina. You're awesome. And hopefully you and I can get together and do some collabs once I up my game a little bit. So I hope you stick around for the journey, and please leave me a comment. I don't care about thumbs up, thumbs down, all that shit yet. You know, I really don't. I'm going to do this whether anybody watches it or not. But I, you know, I enjoy meeting people and hanging out. So most of my friends are imaginary. Oh shit, I did the air quotes. Imaginary online. I have more friends online than I do actually in person, because this life that I live here now doesn't lend itself to a lot of stationary stuff, because I'm always on the road and I don't have a historic 9-to-5 job in a building. I'm self-governed. I have no office except my home office, and I just drive all over the place. So it makes it hard to make friends and all that kind of stuff. But I want to change that this year. I want to go out and meet new people and have friends all over the place, so that when I'm driving all over the place, there's no excuse for me not to stop, because I'm not going to, you know, I live too far away. Well, I'll be there next month. So you get the point. You can see I haven't changed a bit if you're watching from my old stuff, where I just blathered on, and I'm going to try to do that a little bit better. My videos won't always be this shitty of quality, because I plan on, you know, shooting on better gear and actually editing. But this time I just wanted it straight from the heart, straight from the way that it is. Here I am. So thanks for checking things out, and I hope you stick around, and I will be posting soon. Forward and up. See you around.